Now we're going to talk about the controlled stop, or the emergency stop as it used to be known. So that follows on from the mirrors. There's a lot of control elements here that you may not think about, so it's really important. One of the main first control elements is to do a dry run before you set off, so get the person to practice the whole sequence, you saying stop, looking over your shoulder saying stop, and practice before you set off 2 or 3 times. Reason for that is that it's quite difficult for the examiner to play too much up on the reaction time, which is one of the main things, and the speed of the brake, firm but aggressive braking, because you've practiced it. So if they do muck it up, you can pull them over and go, okay, let's just practice that again, and when we do it, I want you to do it like that. That way it's very difficult to plough. They will plough on because you've got 20 minutes, so you're not going to do it right first time, but you've got a tool to be able to beat them with, if you like. You can use that to your advantage. So it is important to do dry runs. It's very, very useful tool, that. So you've done that. Let's say we've done that. So the control element on the move is quite straightforward. It literally is to make them do what you want them to do. Make sure you do refer to your handbook with regards to the clutch, when that should go down. Make sure you know when that should go down in relationship to the brake because of ABS braking, and that's explained a little bit more in the essential skills, so have a look that up. So main thing I use is I don't want them to take their hands off the wheel. We always think about the worst thing that people can do to you, and the worst thing I think they can do to you here is put the handbrake on at 30 miles an hour and take the hands off the wheel. No hands on the wheel, handbrake on. Not a nice scenario. We don't want that, do we? So I'm going to really go for that. I'm going to make sure, because remember on the briefing they forget 50% when you move, and it will be that 50%, I guarantee you that. So I'm going to put that into place to make sure that doesn't happen. You can then fiddle around with what you say according to what else you think they may do, depending on how the dry run went, etc. So I'll give you a couple examples. You wouldn't use all the examples, but you could use bits of the examples, but you'll get the idea when I do it. Okay. One of the classics on this is make sure they've got their seatbelt on. Because you've just done a briefing, they will always take the seatbelt off between the briefing, and you will pull off without a seatbelt on to go off and do the emergency stop. Not a good idea. Wouldn't necessarily fail for it. I have known people pass for it, but it doesn't do you psychologically any good. You're already on the back foot thinking, oh god, he didn't have his seatbelt on. So really important little tip here is if they take their seatbelt on any time during a briefing or between phase 1 and 2, remove your seatbelt as well. If you do that, then you're very unlikely to forget that they've got their seatbelt off, because you're going to put yours on. That will then prompt you to check theirs. So there's a little tip there, but that can be quite a useful thing, I think. Okay, so we're going to go off now and do this emergency stop. So I've told the person how I'm going to activate it. Obviously for the purpose of this exercise I'm not going to look behind me and put my hand up, because I'm actually doing this, so I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is I am going to do the stop, and then I will do the control element. I'll do the control element first, then say stop, in fact. You notice also I don't ever use the word stop unless I actually want them to stop. I don't make reference to it at all. So okay, Blaine, I'm going to carry out the emergency. Start that again, shall I? Okay, Blaine, I'm going to carry out the manoeuvre down here somewhere. So remember, keep your hands firmly on the wheel and put the clutch down just at the end of the braking. Stop. Okay, secure the car for me, and don't go anywhere till I say so. So now put it into first gear, get your bike up, don't go anywhere. Actually put your hand on the steering wheel, that's it. Now look in the mirror, see a woman walking behind us. Look behind us, look down that junction, look down this footpath, look down the road, look down at these cars, down that footpath, at these houses, and tell me if that house is sold or for sale. It's sold, good. So that was how you need to look. So if you do that again for me, just to make sure, look at that house, and now you can put the handbrake down and you can continue to move off. Then you would pull them over and discuss the actual emergency stop itself. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do another example of that. Let's say they keep checking the mirrors beforehand, so I'm going to stop that, and so let's say the clutch is okay. So okay, Blaine, I'm going to carry out this manoeuvre somewhere along here. Remember, don't check those mirrors, you haven't got time. Keep your hands firmly on the wheel. Stop. Okay, secure the car again, and keep your hand, put it into first gear, prepare yourself, but put your hand on the steering wheel. Right, look behind you. Look down the road, look down the footpath, look at these houses, look right in front of you, look at that pedestrian, look down the footpath, look behind you. What colour's the car? Oh, it's black. Yeah, so let's do that again, just to make sure. Now you can put your hand on the handbrake and you can carry on. I'll pull over on the left for me. Okay, so it's quite straightforward, but that will give you so much control. Just a few more tips here. If the examiner brakes too hard, too firm, then pull over and do another dry run, and then do targeted practice. So you could say, I'd like you to, next time we do it, I'm going to get you to stop by the green car. Don't stop before the green car. And if they brake too soft, the other way, but the same technique. I'm going to get you to stop by the green car. Make sure you stop by the green car, not the blue car. And just say we're going to pretend the kids run out between those two cars up there. As long as you time it right, and you need to know how long your car takes to stop at the given speed, you'll need to practice that. Then they're sort of forced to do it, and they're not braking firm enough. You can always say harder, harder, harder anyway, or firmer, firmer, firmer. That's not a problem. But use the dry run, pull them over, dry run it again, and then go out and practice it. One of the crucial and most common failures on this is the observation, right? Looking around, not looking around. Hence why I said prepare yourself as normal, keep your hands on the steering wheel. He cannot put the handbrake down if his hands on the steering wheel, therefore he cannot pull away. So it is important. That's a very easy thing to do, but very, very easy to forget, trust me. So really think about that, really work on that, and make sure they look. That's why I asked me what colour the car was on the right, or whether the house was sold or for sale, what number's the house, is it a postman or a gas man over there, whatever. But by doing that, they're forced to look, forced to give you an answer. You've achieved your objective, which is make them look around. So it is an important element, and you gain much more control, because it's always easy to get in a rush and want to pull away straight away, and they just don't look. They just do that. Even if you've made reference to them pulling away from the side of the road, so you did pull away from the side of the road really nicely earlier when we came here, it doesn't mean it's going to do it in the middle of the road, does it? So you have to gain control. Really, really important.